So, Louise, this felt to me like the week of the three-legged stool of problems for Obamacare, or the Affordable Care Act. A, the website's still not working very well. B, lots of people got exercised because policies are being canceled. And C, and most recently, there are now new concerns about privacy. It's not been a great week, but I think there are probably more of these weeks to come before the news gets better. At least conceivably.
That's absolutely the case. So some of this is fixed by the calendar. The cancellation notices were always scheduled to go out around this time of year, and some of it is just that we're in week 4.
So you knew this was going to happen, even if the White House didn't.
The White House knew too,
Yeah.
but some of this is also just week 4 of glitches that would have been glitches if they'd been temporary, but are not because it's been 4 weeks and they haven't been fixed. Now it's just a matter in and of itself that that's the case. And then there's of course political pressure rising around both of those things.
And my gut tells me that in the long run, the website glitches, which have been the obsession of the last few weeks, are probably the least of these worries. That eventually the question of whether the substance of the law works or not is more important, and of these kind of problems, maybe the cancellations are the most important because they get to the question of who's going to be better off, who's going to be worse off, who's been taken by surprise by the policy, not the process.
Well, the timing's really unfortunate for supporters of the law. It was a very intricate law with lots of pieces that were interlinked, and the idea was supposed to be that while there would be policy cancellations, there would be alternatives, but because there aren't, because the website isn't working, they can't point to that, so they just have a slew of bad news.
So people feel stranded as opposed to having alternatives.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Louise, but the whole law rests on getting healthy people, young and old, to sign up for insurance at the exchanges, so they get a broad pool of people. If you have cancer and you can't get insurance, you'll be willing to go on the exchange every day for the next 12 weeks until you get on, because you need it. But if you're one of these kids like my son who's 26 years old and who doesn't wear a bike helmet because he's convinced he'll never get in an accident, well, some of these people may not bother to sign up, and that would really be a problem for the economics of it.
Right now, supporters of the law can say that the fundamentals of it are still strong. They recognize while they do that privately, they might not be the best phrase to be using in public, but the fundamentals of the law will not be strong if the website glitches cannot be overcome, if people cannot use it to sign up, and there's a really narrow time frame now for that to happen, a matter of weeks.
And as a political matter, what prospects does Obama have of successfully making the case that, yes, if you're in the individual market, you might lose your insurance and you might have to buy a more expensive policy, but believe us, it's a better policy. In the long run, you'll be better off. The deductibles will be lower. You'll have better coverage. But it's true, you can't buy any longer your cheaper policy that you already had. Can that be successful? Will that sell?
That was always going to be a tough sell with people who were in the individual market already, who were in there for a reason and liked the cheap premium that they had. That's what they liked about their plan. It's an even tougher sell when you don't have something else to point them
They
towards.
liked the cheap premium even though they didn't necessarily have a great plan. In fact, almost certainly didn't have a great plan. So you have to convince them the cheap
hard,
premium.
That's not, people shop for insurance kind of naively, and they may choose the lower premium because they don't care. They don't have a kid or something.
Or it may have been a perfectly rational discussion and they don't like being told that they're naive now.
But I think well, that's true. But I think also, remember that most people are not in the individual market. So while it gets all the attention, and for good reason, a lot depends on how employers handle this. And if our company starts to monkey with our health insurance, undoubtedly either they'll blame it on the Affordable Care Act or we'll assume it has something to do with the Affordable Care Act.
Well, everything that goes wrong, people are going to blame on the
In fact, the rain
Affordable
today
Care Act.
is because of the Obamacare.
That is the real problem. And I think they just have to live through that period for a couple of months now. It feels that way to me.
Well, if everything else were going right, it wouldn't be so problematic.
That's true, too.